Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, Two Blokes Chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. I've travelled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Been to Tullamore, Seymour, Lismore, Mooloolaba, Nambour, Roochdore, Kilmore, Marillaba, Birdsville, Emmaville, Wallaville, Connemara, Connemara, Strathround, Proserpine, Ulladulla, Darwin, Gingin, Lilliquin, Muckdilla, Wallumbilla, Bougainville, Cumberland, Ramakiller. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts
Yes,
bare,
indeed.
man.
We have been everywhere. It is 11 minutes to 11 o'clock. Now, we apologise. We took the Hoodoo Gurus with a Like Wow Wipeout out of the playlist. Because,
probably a good thing.
No, it's a great song. Would from 85. But if we had have played that, we would have had 3 minutes and 9 seconds less to talk to Amy Treacy in Cohuna. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
Great to have you on board. You've got Neil here. The other voice you'll hear is Rob. Thanks for joining us on Regional Roundup. First things first, we always get this question out of the road first for those who don't know. Where on earth is Cohuna?
Cohuna is in north central Victoria on the Murray River.
And what is it best known for?
Milk and cows.
Or probably the dairy industry, but also Stuart Appleby, the world-class golfer.
Apparently he liked to play around. Of golf, that is.
Now, Amy, I did speak to you off air. We can't sell your other famous former resident. The current Managing Director or CEO of the Bendigo Bank, Marnie Baker, is also a Cohuna girl.
She is. She's done very well and very supportive of our town.
I would have thought, though, if I asked her where she's from, she wouldn't say Cohuna, she'd say Cohuna.
Absolutely. I can say it.
No, for those who are wondering, I do a podcast called The Regional 250. You should have a look at it at some stage. And Amy was a guest during the week. We haven't released that episode yet, but it's a really good yarn. And I thought, hey, we need to get this onto Regional Roundup. Now, let me just give some background because we're a bit short on time. So you grew up in Cohuna, you went away, you met someone, you married him, you had family, you've come back to Cohuna. What was the appeal of getting back to Cohuna? Because you were in Ballarat, as I remember.
We were, well, obviously, the climate, the weather.
Good morning to our Ballarat listeners.
Ballarat.
Yeah.
But also just the lifestyle, the nature, the fresh air, all the outdoor activities. It's a very sporty town and fantastic facilities. We've still got 2 wonderful schools and a high school as well. Great hospital facilities, lots of retail shops. And that was growing the kids up with the good lifestyle.
Amy, I did mention earlier that you're most famous originally for milk and cows, but the dairy industry's changed a lot up there. It's probably no longer the central piece. So what keeps people employed, busy around Cohuna now?
Well, the focus has moved actually to tourism because we have a nature-based tourism. We've got the beautiful waterways, the Gumbau State Forest and National Park, and like I mentioned, the Murray River. There's wetlands around here, so people come up for bird watching, camping, fishing, water sports. And so, a lot of our businesses are based around that now. And
one of the big issues up around there for maybe the demise of the dairy industry is the water, required water out of the system. That costs money. And trading in water became quite messy and is still very much a messy part. But you also need environmental water. So are you getting the balance right up there between keeping the river healthy, keeping the wetlands healthy for people to come and look at them, but also the agricultural requirements with irrigation?
Definitely depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Controversial, very political content at the moment, but it's the bush and we call it the bush, but the forest is looking amazing at the moment, and the opportunities out there for kayaking and getting amongst the trees and all the birds and the amazing wildlife that live out there is it's really beautiful at the moment if anyone wants to come up and do that. So
just on that point, you said it's political, but at the moment, because the shift has changed, there's not as much people south of the river looking for irrigation water for the dairy industry, but all of a sudden tourism is important. So those wetlands have to be pristine all the time for your town to thrive. So in the community, is the focus changed from those bloody greenies pinching all our water to, we need it for agriculture. What's the balance there?
Their balance is a good word. They're really just trying to get the balance right because, of course, farmers are environmentalists as well. I think it's not either or. A lot of the farms around here have environmental, they have bird life that live on them, frogs, native animals that live on them, and they need water to survive as well. So when the water is taken from the farmers, that affects all the environment on the farm. So, yeah, it's such a complex issue. But something that we all, as a community, want to work towards getting that balance right, of course.
Now, one of the things that appealed to me about your story the other day when we were talking, Amy, and I mean, this is very much a hallmark of our regional roundup at the best of times, but I love the level of community focus that your town seems to have, and particularly through a venture that you are familiar with called Cohuna. Tell us a bit about what's going on there.
Cohuna is my and my husband's business. It's a co-working centre, which 3 years ago when we started it was relatively unheard of, especially in regional areas. But it's become a bit of a hub in the town where we have events, workshops, and then of course people can hire our offices, our meeting rooms and our hot desks flexibly so that they can come to town. So it gives services that we don't have here a chance to come once a month or once a fortnight, build their businesses up here. They don't have to commit to like a 12-month lease of a commercial premises. So that actually helps the community as well because we get more services and we don't have to travel as far and away from town when we need to access services that are important to us.
Because I guess the other thing that comes into that is, you've got Sally and Dave, who are both successful business folk. They're living in Melbourne. They come up to Cohuna for a week off. I suspect they could stay an extra week now and do their job from there, which in the past it would have been difficult in the camp chair in the caravan park, balancing your laptop on your knee with a stubby in your hand.
Certainly is, and that's what we've definitely found that has been growing. People bring their laptops, they come in, they hook into the Wi-Fi, they use the printer. They just spend a day or two and then they can extend their holiday because they don't have to rush home to their office and they can spend more time up here with their family and enjoying lifestyle around their work.
And I think the other thing that is has come through in other conversations about the other regional rounduppers, I think that's what we call a person on the segment, is that there's a lot of people who have a job to support their farm and, they're often working out on the farm when they're farming. They're working from home because of COVID and so forth. I guess a co-working space allows those people to come into town and, do their job and have some human interaction.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole purpose around it. And also, gives a little bit of an option to people that work from home just to go somewhere and separate the work and home life as well. And, like you said, have the community and other people around them at the same time.
So from a COVID perspective, we usually ask this question of people. Hopefully this is a question we don't have to ask for too much more. Over the last 2 years, you would have seen the impact of COVID coming through. How has that impacted on Cohuna and subsequently how have you guys bounced back?
It obviously had a huge impact when we had the lockdowns and things, but a lot of the towns, people and businesses were all pulled together. It actually meant people had to shop locally, which is something we've been pushing obviously for many, many years, but it really meant that people had to shop locally and it felt like people formed more of a relationship with their locals and found out more about what all the different businesses have to offer. So it ended up being a positive impact now that it's over, nearly.
Because I guess in a lot of towns like Cohuna, you have, if you will, a capital city to go to. Is Bendigo that town for you guys, or is it Albury Wodonga?
No, most people would probably go to Bendigo for the major services.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Amy, I just was great to chat to you during the week and again this morning. I'm putting it on my list of places I have to visit at some stage soon because I haven't been to Cohuna for years. In fact, you'll notice I still call it Cohuna, having been up there a few times over the journey.
Fantastic. We would always be happy to welcome you and come up and go to our waffle shop. We've got a waffle shop, which is a really special treat. When you come up, I'll love to come and have a coffee with you there.
Well, I might bring my laptop. This is what I could do. I'll come up and I'll bring my radio gear and I'll do a live broadcast from Cohuna.
Let's organise it. Sounds great.
We'll do it. Amy, thanks for joining us on Regional Roundup. We'll chat soon.
Thank you.